Good morning, VC. It's Glenn coming from the basement. It's Monday morning, so we know what time that is. It's time for the weekly wrap up. This is episode number 4. I gotta tell you, I'm enjoying doing this. I think it's kind of fun. If anybody's just watching for the first time, it's just me going over what happened through the week. To me personally, what I watched on the VC, what I think is interesting on the VC for you guys to check out, contests that are going on, sports, because I'm a sports fan, books I'm reading, whatever the hell comes into my head. So, let's get started. First, me. New background. I was always sitting in the chair with Jerry Garcia poster behind me and Neil over my shoulder. I just decided to mix it up a bit. So I've got my Led Zeppelin original handbill from 1969 from the concert I attended in Toronto. I've got my shelf behind me where I put the record that I'm currently listening to. This week, it's, what do I have up there? It's a Blues Jam in Chicago, which is an album I got recently. Fleetwood Mac, the original Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green. Yeah, Chess Records in a day-long jam session with Otis Spann and Willie Dixon and all those guys. Great frickin' blues album. And my John Lennon poster. Love John. That is from the Give Me Some Truth box set. I just kind of folded it in a way to make it poster-like, or fit in that frame. So, pretty cool. What else? Anybody into speaker placement? It's something I'm toying with. I don't know. I've just kind of set my speakers. I've got Monitor Audio Silver 300 series floor standing speakers. They're rear ported. So traditionally and generally speaking, rear ported speakers need to sit further out from the wall. The most I can really sit them out comfortably without them looking ridiculous and me tripping all over them is from the back of the speaker to the wall is about 14 inches. I don't know if I'm happy with the bass response. Certain albums it sounds really good, and certain albums it doesn't, and I'm not sure if it's the recordings or just, your ears just start playing with tricks with you. So I have these plugs that came with it that you can plug up the rear ports. I'm going to try moving them closer to the wall, just like an inch at a time. With the plugs in, I might try moving them closer to the wall with the plugs out and see how it sounds, and then with the plugs in. So I'm going to be interested. I'll let you know next week what I come up with. But it's crazy how I think it's just our issue, not speaker issue or hardware issues, when every once in a while you just go, geez, it just doesn't sound good today. I almost think it's our hearing that changes, not the speaker. But anybody's got any comments on that, let me know. What was happening in the VC last week that I really enjoyed? I'm a big Frank Zappa fan, and one channel I really like watching is Michael, our friend in Germany, who 45 RPM Audiophile is his channel. And he talks about audiophile recordings, and not necessarily they have to be expensive mobile fidelity, original master recording, but and he does talk about those, no doubt, but he also just talks about albums that are recorded well, like Neil Young's albums sound fantastic. He just was doing Frank Zappa last week. He did 2 parts on the Frank Zappa Trust reissues, which are really, really good. I got to get more of them. I've got hot rats. But Michael is really praising them. So if you're a Zappa fan at all, you might want to check out those. Michael's picked up quite a few of them, and he's loving them. So that's coming from a pretty reputable source. So, Shannon, my friend Shannon, ranking Leonard Cohen. She did a ranking video from somebody I just think is just an iconic artist. Love Leonard. Loved him forever. My favorite Leonard Cohen album is Songs of Love and Hate, which I think is his 3rd album. Shannon's favorite is I'm Your Man. Now, that's up there with me. It's probably in my top 3 or 4 for sure. Shannon made me happy and picked Songs of Love and Hate as her second favorite. So we're pretty much in tune on Leonard, I think, except Songs from a Room, which I love. She ranked lower because she just didn't like this, that it was just kind of bare bones acoustic guitar and Leonard, but that's kind of what I love about it. Chris Blues Guy Vinyl, my friend Chris from Calgary. He is doing these live chats whenever he feels the mood. There's no particular day or time. He did one again last week, and I love tuning into that. If I catch it and I see it, I'm in. I don't care what I'm doing. I stop and participate because I love Chris, and I love the blues. I love the records he plays. He's turned me on to a bunch of stuff. He was playing some Memphis blues last week, and he played a guy named Roscoe Gordon. I never heard the guy, but he sounded really cool, and I've got the name written down. I'm going to check it out. My nephew, Jack, JT Media. Jack's starting to get really involved in the VC now. He's been a member for quite a while, but he wasn't making videos very often. And now he's jumped right in. And so I would appreciate if anybody could support his channel. He has 30 subscribers. JT Media, capital J, capital T, capital M, and then small EDIA. That's kind of all one word. So Jack has just done his first response thread, and it's a Beatles thread. He was inspired by Jeff at Calico Silver's 15 Questions for Beatles Fans, and this is kind of more questions for Beatles fans. And he came up with some pretty interesting questions. So I'm going to do a video on that later today. But please subscribe. I'm hoping if 100 people watch this, he's going to get at least 20 or 30 new subscribers. Please help me and help Jack, because he's just a great guy, and he wants to be involved. Another kind of a relatively new channel to me, John's Music Passions. John did a response thread on 10 live albums. I'm a big fan of live albums, so I enjoyed doing that one. That was pretty cool. Ron Haggerty's a Vinyl Sanctuary. Who doesn't love Ron? He's one of the great guys in the vinyl community. He did a great response thread on seafaring theme. Just show an album that has a picture of the sea or something related, or a song on the album that's related to seafaring, or the name of a band. So it was great, like Procol Harum, A Salty Dog, and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. I chose, one of my choices was Stan Rogers, great Canadian singer-songwriter who tragically died in that fire on the runway in Cincinnati back in the 80s. I don't know who remembers that, but it was pretty tragic. I think 11 people died in that fire. And unfortunately, one of them was Stan. Took him away way too early. He's a great songwriter. Stan Rogers, check him out if you get a chance. Okay, and last but not least, let's do a plug for me and my friend Lisa Tedesco, our new channel, Bass to Bass with Lisa and Glenn. We just did our latest video featuring the bass work of John Entwistle. Talked about John's accomplishments, some of his great bass lines, his pioneering. John was a real pioneer in the world of electric bass. So check that video out. It's pretty cool. We're getting a lot of gold stars for that one, so that's good. We're going to be recording another one this week, I'm sure. Just talking to Lisa back and forth about what our next topic is, but we'll come up with something cool. Oh, what next? Contests. There's so many contests going on in the VC. I feel like every day I'm doing 2 of them. But I love doing them because I love supporting people's channel. And it's fun to win. Don't get me wrong. But I really, number one, it's a great way to promote people in the VC. So jump in on board. My friend Chris Prophy, 1,000 subs. Congratulations, Chris. That's amazing. You deserve it. Chris is one of the best guys in the VC and one of the most well-liked guys, too. He's just an awesome guy. His subject was Kiss, but it wasn't. If you're not a Kiss fan, you can still participate because you only had to answer one Kiss question, name a favorite Kiss song. So, I mean, I went on the internet and Googled top 10 Kiss songs and picked one. to get me in the contest, and then the rest of them were kind of questions that, like name another guy in a band, or another band, but that his name is the same with one of the guys in Kiss, stuff like that. So it was pretty easy and a great contest. Vinyl Talk with Tavis. Now in my video I made a mistake of calling him Travis. My apologies again, Tavis. Valentine's contest, 5 love songs. Who doesn't know anything about love songs? There's a million of them. Brain Twang, Brian out in Seattle. He's got a really cool channel. I guess I love Brian because he loves everything I love. He's a big Bob Dylan fan. He knows a band called Blackie and the Rodeo Kings from Canada, which is one of my favorite bands. And yeah, we really have a lot in common musically. He showed, last night he did a tour of his musical instruments. He's got some cool instruments, man. Just check it out. Really, really good. If you're play a guitar or any other instrument, check it out. You'll see some really cool stuff. And finally, Brian, when I talk about, I didn't mention his contest. So he's got 4 contests going on at once. Like contest number 1 he announced last week, and then contest number 2 he just announced the other day. It's about guest stars on albums. Contest 3 I'm sure will be announced this week sometime, and contest 4 next week. You can enter all 4, but you can only win one. And check out Brian's channel, Brain Twang, pretty cool. And one more, a new channel to me. Nick Rudow, Rudow. He's celebrating 100 subs, but he's up to 200 subs, so he's moving up the charts with a bullet, this guy. 10 blind buys, which was pretty cool to do. A lot of people are entering that. Great contest, Nick. That's it for the VC this week, I think. That was enough. It's hard to keep up, man. It really is. Like, I'm glad I'm retired. If I was working for a living and trying to keep up with the VC, I don't know, this is like a full-time job that I don't get paid for. So if anybody wants to offer to pay me, we can work something out. Sports. And I'm a sports fan. Super Bowl. What a dud. Unless you're a Tom Brady fanatic, but not that I hate Tom Brady or was rooting. I don't have a horse in the race. I'm a Raiders fan, but I thought KC would win that game by a touchdown at least, and they didn't even show up. Like, I mean, the penalties they took in the first half were just dreadful. It was awful to watch. So disappointing. My friend Randy Nelson, I don't even know if I'm going to hear from him today. He's probably still in bed. But, yeah, that's... Oh, my God. Just a horrible, horrible frickin' game unless you just worship Tom Brady. I turned it off, actually, and then flicked back and forth to make sure they hadn't come back, but there was no way. I kind of thought towards the end, I was starting to think, they had a lot of undisciplined stuff happen to them just before the game. They all went to this barber who was tested positive for the COVID, and like just stupid stuff that just was just dumb decisions they were making. The coach's son, who's a coach on the team, he got in a car accident, and some young child is in pretty serious condition in the hospital. That happened on Friday night, and it's just, the whole thing is just, it just seemed really undisciplined, and no wonder the outcome was the way it was. I am a huge tennis fan, and so is my wife Lynn. We've both been watching tennis since we were young. I started watching like probably around 1969, 1970, Rod Laver, and then into Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg and Chrissy Evert and Billie Jean King and all that stuff. I just love the sport. I used to play a lot, and yeah, it's a great sport, and very passionate for all the major tournaments. So the Australian Open just started. Canada is developing some incredible tennis players, which has never really happened before. Bianca Andreescu, our number 1 player in the world, she won the U.S. Open in 2019. She's only 20 years old. Just watched her first match. She won. She's an incredible human being and real role model for Canada, and really fun to watch. She's great. And we have Milos Raonic on the men's side and Denis Shapovalov, and there's a whole bunch of them I can't even think of, and there's maybe like half a dozen that are just really top-notch players, so it's really exciting to watch the Australian Open. I don't know how many of you guys are into tennis. Okay, books. I have been telling you guys about this website called bookoutlet.ca. Fantastic, man. It's just like the deals on there, especially with the music biographies. Just plug in the name of a band, Beatles, Bob Dylan, whatever you want to plug in. You'll find lots of music bios and really cheap, like a $25 hardcover book for under $10. Everybody knows I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan. It's been a while since I read a Dylan bio. The best one is the first one that I'm aware of that was written by a guy named Anthony Scadudo. Came out sometime in the early 70s, I think, but great book. It's still the best Dylan bio I've ever read. But I got these ones. They're a set by a guy named Ian Bell. This is The Lives of Bob Dylan. Once Upon a Time is the first volume. I've just started that. I'm right up to when I've gone through all his childhood and up to when he's just getting to Greenwich Village. Really well written book. I'm loving this guy's style of writing. He analyzes a bit and he talks. Bob's got a myth, right? I mean, there's the truth, and then there's 10 stories about how things actually happened. You don't know what to believe, right? So he kind of analyzes all of that, and he goes, when they get to Greenwich Village, he goes back to like the 1800s and how Greenwich Village was always kind of a meeting ground for artists and journalists and free thinkers, and right up into the 50s with the Beats and into the 60s with the folk singers. Really interesting book, well written. I'm enjoying this a lot. There's a second volume which I purchased at the same time called Time Out of Mind, The Lives of Bob Dylan, Ian Bell. The first book goes to Blood on the Tracks, and this is from Blood on the Tracks up until he records Tempest. So if you're a Bob Dylan fan or you just like music biographies, I highly recommend these books. Getting them both delivered to my door, taxes, shipping and everything, $26 for a hardcover book and a new paperback. That's pretty good value. That's Canadian dollars. My US friends, that would be about $1.50, I think. Anyway. Okay. I'm almost at the end here because I got no new vinyl this week. Now, my wife has some vinyl put away for me for Valentine's Day, so next Sunday I'll get it. I know what it is, but I'm not gonna. But I'm just gotta sit here like a little kid at Christmas before I can open the gifts. So next Monday I'll have some new vinyl for you. The one thing I like to do is a listen of the week. There I am, back. This fine album that I just got. I'm such a big fan of this guy, Steve Earle, The Ghosts of West Virginia. What a fine album. He released this last year. There's Steve. Steve Earle gets better and better and better with age. He is on top of his game when it comes to writing. There's an insert. This album is about coal miners in West Virginia. The theme running through the whole album. Fantastic. The songs are incredible. Absolutely love this album. If everyone, I don't know if everyone is aware, but Steve's son, Justin Townes Earle, who's a great singer-songwriter in his own right, passed away from a drug overdose not that long ago, sadly. I think he was 39 years old. Steve has been in the studio recording Justin's songs to put out an album as a tribute to his son. The album's called JT, and I don't know if it's out in the States yet. It's not coming out in Canada till March, but that's going to be such a emotional and I'm sure a great album coming from Mr. Steve Earle. So my listen of the week, Ghosts of West Virginia. Beautiful, beautiful record. That's it for me. I don't think I missed anything else. It's just around the 20-minute mark, so which is pretty cool. Peace out, everyone. I love you all. Please subscribe if you haven't done so and push the little bell and all that stuff. We'll look forward to seeing you around the BC this week. Take care.